Hello, this is Jonathan Lampy with DivCount.com. Today I'll be talking about the next generation of web servers, software that developers are today using instead of Apache or IIS in their high-performance, cloud-ready applications. This presentation will be given Pacheco style. That means that we'll be looking at about 20 slides in less than 7 minutes. Let's begin. Today, most developers are either building web applications on top of a general-purpose Apache or IIS web server. Today, both are mature applications with support for a wide variety of programming languages, design structures, and with many past security and denial of service problems far behind them. Recent Netcraft statistics show these two top web servers in a neck-and-neck battle for developer mindshare, with every other independent web server type in decline, except for one. But hold that thought. We'll get back to it later. So we have two mature web server platforms battling it out, each one closely aligned with the Windows camp or the Unix camp. What's wrong with that? Well, nothing really, until you consider the performance of web applications relative to other applications. Let's face it, most web applications are dogs. Those of us just old enough to remember putting several hundred sessions on 386 boxes continue to be amazed by modern web applications running on multi-core systems that can barely pull that kind of load. And a few years ago, that wasn't such a big deal. You spec'd your application, built it to scale across a web farm, and added as many boxes to the rack as you needed to run it. But these days, budgets are tighter. You get fewer resources. You may even be asked to share resources on a virtual system, or to deploy on a pay-for-what-you-use system in the cloud. Whatever the reason, today there's a new focus on getting the best possible performance out of your limited, shared, or build-per-use resources. With the increased focus on performance, slow web applications written on top of Apache and IIS platforms are no longer getting a free pass. But if the age of the web server dinosaurs is passing, we should at least identify some of the mammals waiting to take their place. But first, some technical background. To understand why there are more efficient web servers than IIS or Apache, we'll need to dive into the way various servers process incoming requests. In a legacy web server, a new thread is spawned for each request. Each new thread reads the request, then calls the script that generates the page, then waits for the script to complete, then performs any final writes needed to finish answering the request. In this model, the thread stays with the request from the first byte read to the last byte written. An optimization of the single thread per request case is to use a pool of request threads. This largely eliminates the overhead of setting up and tearing down a thread, but you still incur performance penalties because the same thread stays with the request while it waits for the script to execute. We get our best possible performance by limiting the memory and overhead footprint of each thread, so a further optimization is to use multiple threads to chop the single thread waiting for the script to execute. This is especially effective if the script is doing something like calling a web service behind the scenes. It really doesn't make sense to dedicate a thread to waiting for that kind of request to return. So what does all that optimization get us? One thing is consistent and predictable memory usage across a large number of connections. This leads to other performance benefits, such as the ability to support a large number of simultaneous connections. Specifically, web servers that support full asynchronous I/O are the first class of web servers to easily handle more than 10,000 simultaneous connections, a commonly acknowledged performance limit, sometimes referred to as the C10K problem. So if IIS and Apache are the dinosaurs, who are the full async mammals waiting to take their place? There are several projects out there vying for the opportunity, but today we're going to look at just 3. If you're currently an Apache developer, then nginx is probably the first lightweight, fully asynchronous package you should be looking at. This package is available for Linux and Windows and comes with a configuration file with an easy learning curve and the ability to support scripts written in common languages such as PHP. You may also want to look at Light HTTPD, which is really pronounced Lighty, which has similar benefits. If you're currently an IIS developer, then Kayak is worth a look. This package allows you to embed a high-performance web server into your own .NET application. The embedded approach is different than ASP.NET development the Microsoft way, but it provides some enormous advantages over ASP.NET in terms of portability to Unix platforms through Mono, and in handling of the web service requests common in modern rich web client applications. If you're currently a Java developer, then Jetty may be a good package to research. Jetty can be deployed as either a standalone server or an embedded component. And like many good Java packages, Jetty can be scaled up or down anywhere from mobile phones to clusters of mainframes. And which of these projects is currently most popular? Well, the answer currently appears to be nginx, which Netcraft claims is currently powering just over 5% of all websites, and climbing. Also, within the other category, Netcraft tracks the top 2 Java servers, Tomcat and Jetty has overtaken Tomcat within the past year. So in conclusion, I encourage you to look beyond IIS and Apache when developing your next web application or looking for a target to port your existing web applications to. Packages such as nginx, kayak, jetty, and Lighty all have benefits, all have massive performance benefits that you need to be aware of and need to be taking advantage of in your web applications today. Thanks for tuning in. For more information, please go to divconc.com. Much of the information in today's presentation was provided by an article by my colleague Andy White entitled Web Server Threading Models, found on divconc.com. There you will also find a number of other articles about high-performance, cloud-ready technology. So please visit divconc.com for more information. Thank you.